Yo, what is good, people of YouTube and the podcasting world? Welcome back to another episode of Swagger Day Saint. And we're on episode 6. In today's episode, two of my favorite people in the church, in the house, and two people that I feel very, very comfortable with sharing my most intimate feelings. And so today's episode, I think, is just going to be a low-key, casual, chopping it up and getting candid about whatever we feel like talking about, I guess. Life, yes. And all three of us are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We had church today. It's a great, beautiful day, and I think we're all in good spirits and a good mood and just want to spread love and positivity. So, yeah, two topics that we brought up were love and relationships and being minorities in the church. So, Belinda, wherever you want to take this. By the way, everyone said that our episode, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on our episode. A lot of my friends back home would message me saying, including Jacoba, that was like, you and Belinda's episode was fire, so you got to have her back on. So,
woot woot.
So we got this, and yeah, I just wanted to say that and start off like that. So,
thanks.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about love.
Love?
L is for the way you look at me. All right.
Yes.
Set the scene for your first love.
First love. This is like a Valentine's Day special.
When you was baby Chowser.
We're starting with me. We're gonna go down the line.
Yeah, you
first love.
First, green shirt.
I remember first kiss. This doesn't really count, but like, I think in preschool.
Whoa.
I got a quick little peck on the lips type thing, like side of the lip kind of thing.
What was her name?
I think Jenny.
Ooh.
Jenny.
Preschool.
Jenny.
Little baby Jenny out there, all grown up, maybe booed up. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, my first love.
First relationship was like in 6th grade. That was probably like my first official kiss. It was super weird. Because we just like kissed and we held it, and like neither of us like moved. I don't even think I puckered my lips. I was just like, you know what I mean?
You just like put.
No, I didn't even. Yeah, I was just literally like.
You're like this.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like straight up like that.
Like two rocks touching.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I think I was able to get comfortable with girls at like a young age. Like in middle school, I started to kind of talk to a lot of different girls.
Yeah.
And I think
that's when you started becoming a player.
I wouldn't say a player. I just say like getting just comfortable, like with the opposite sex. You know what I mean? And some guys I think start later in life. I just think I started a little earlier. So I was just like, it's easier for me to have female friends, I think.
You know,
something I noticed, yeah.
You know, certain people have an easier time being friends with the opposite gender.
Yeah. What about you? Do you feel like growing up you were always good with guys or?
No, I was so awkward. I was the girl who would always fall in love with her best friend.
Oh.
And he would never share the same feelings. Yeah, it was tragic.
Wow.
It was tragic, yeah.
I feel like my friends have too much of an ego to ever admit to me if they had feelings for me.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they just didn't have feelings for you.
Oh!
No, that too, but I don't know. No, that could be it also. I could just have a bad read. I don't know. No, yeah.
But I remember the first boy that I ever really liked, and it was also in preschool. Vu. His name was Vu. My Vu boo.
Shout out Vu.
And he was this little Vietnamese kid, and he had 2 gold front teeth. You know how they put the caps on?
Oh,
and I thought that was so cool. I was like, this dude got a grill. I didn't even know what a grill was.
Preschool girl.
A preschool girl. But he was so sweet and so gentle, and he would just be off doing his own thing, and I would just be across the room watching him.
Little baby B, just
baby
obsessed.
B. Just, oh my gosh. He was so cute. And I remember one time I saw him with his grandpa, because I lived in downtown San Francisco at the time, and I saw him walking with his grandpa, and I tugged on my mama's shirt. I was like, there he go. There he go. And she said, oh, is that your friend from preschool? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. That's him.
That was your first love. You'll never forget this.
Vu is my boo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Vu.
What about you, Cam? What was your first love relationship?
My first love was in preschool too.
Wow.
Oh, look at us.
Jeez, bruh.
His name was Ian. He had blonde hair. And then I remember I told you guys a story, but
I've never heard this.
I think you did. Okay, so I liked him so much. He was so cute. And one time we went to a friend's birthday party, and there's this little play structure, and there's like a little net that you can climb up. It kind of looked like a dome. Do you guys remember domes?
Yeah.
Like it's circular and you climb up it.
Yeah.
It was kind of similar to that.
It's a bougie preschool?
I don't know.
Okay. Shout out to
it was
Folsom.
a private. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so it probably was.
So then he was like, I was chasing him, imitating everything he did, and he ran down the net like. And so I tried doing that, but my leg or my little foot got stuck in the hole, and I like went like that, like my full body went like, and I got caught in the net.
And he
thing.
laughed in your face.
He didn't see, but I slipped upside down.
Oh.
And I was like, ooh.
Boo-boo.
And then I went to my mom, and I was like, Mom, this happened. And then like she checked my pants, and it like cut everything up. Like I was
shredded.
So shredded, and I had to go to the emergency room.
I thought you were about to say you pooped your pants or something.
No, it just like.
So my mom found brown stains in my.
No, it just like was a burn.
Dang.
But I was thinking about what you said, how you can make friends that are girls easily.
Yeah.
That was not me. Like my first guy friend, well, all of my first guy friends were gay.
Oh,
Those were my only guy
what?
friends. Like the only guy friends I could make were gay.
Wow.
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like the best
that
guy
makes
friends
sense.
that I do have are gay.
Yeah. Aren't?
Are.
Yeah.
Gay guys are just really good friends.
They
Yeah.
really are.
And like in the movies, that's like a consistent thing.
The gay
like,
best friend.
The gay best friend.
They give the best
Yeah.
advice. They help you get outfits. They be painting nails.
And I think
Yes.
it's literally because there's no feelings whatsoever. I think when guys and
Yeah.
girls, there's always tension. Heterosexual girls and guys being friends, there's always some sort of tension.
unless
Regardless.
there's an age difference.
Yeah. There will always be that thought. Like,
Whoa, like something there. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So I think it's interesting.
Yeah. And I was like you, I was always too shy or like awkward to go up to guys growing up. So that's why I didn't even have guy friends too. Because I
Wow.
was just afraid to like say anything.
But now you guys are blossoming, or Cam's blossoming, and B's. No, B's gone. B's already found, I think, her person that you're going through it. And this is also one of those things where people are like, can you watch what you say on your thing? Because some people don't want to share too much about what's going on. So I apologize if I.
You're chilling.
Okay.
You're chilling.
But
Yeah. But I agree that there's now having a lot of, now having guy friends.
yeah.
I feel like there is always like in the back of your mind, like,
Could this?
But I've
Be
never
something.
thought that with you ever.
Skirt.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. But other guy friends where I don't think it, I always think in my head, like, what if they think something different, you know?
Oh, like they got a crush on me.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I just feel like being like open and honest right now, and I don't know if I've ever told anyone this, but I think there's something in my ego that just wants like everyone to like me.
Oh.
And
Like,
want you.
like that.
Yeah.
Like I just want everyone to
Even
be like,
if you don't
I
want them.
No, yeah, I just want
Yeah.
that like consistent thing where like even if I don't want them, I just want them to be like, "Oh, I want you." Like
You
that.
know, I've heard that before from
I
other
want
people.
that so bad.
Yeah.
But it's also a motivating thing for me to go out of my way to be like, I want to treat everybody to go out to eat. Like all the girls in my life, like I want to take them out. I want to like open the car door for them and just like be really nice to them, be touchy with them.
So they
know
can
what I
like
mean?
you?
Yeah. Like I just want every girl in my life to like
You want a
want
roster?
me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've
think
never said that.
I've never said that. And also this could be really bad.
Yeah, you
to
might.
say.
This might not even be uploaded.
Yeah, honestly, I might have to cut this part out.
That is so
And I might
interesting.
leave it in. But yeah, like there's something in my ego that I just want everyone's like love and attention.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you also have to realize, I remember I was at my first summer camp job, and I had a conflict with one of the other women there. And my boss or my supervisor took me aside, and he was like, you know what, B, you're a great girl.
Yeah.
Like, you're loving, you're kind, but you need to understand something and understand this well.
Yeah.
You cannot be everyone's best friend, and not everybody you meet is going to like you. So don't try to change yourself for each person that you meet. Because I used to do that a lot. I used to be like completely different people and try to be dynamic and like code switch and like really try to work the system. But what I realized that people prefer more is authenticity.
Yeah,
being true to yourself. You know what I mean? And so with that, it's like, yes, you want people to want you.
Yeah.
But you know, it's important to realize that when you do find somebody that you really like, they're going to notice that you're going the extra mile.
Yeah.
Right? And that's going to make them feel special. And that's what women want. We want to feel special.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so true.
I hear that
because
all the time.
if
That's
you
a consistent
treat
thing.
everyone the same, which I mean would be good, but if you do the same thing, like you take your friends out to eat, you, I don't know, check up on them and stuff, and you do that to the same... You do the same to the girl that you like.
Yeah. Then how will she know?
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that my friends know about me as well, and I'm this way. Like, one of the things that I struggle with is once I find that person, there's less time to be spent with. Because Isaiah was always roasting me when I was with Holly. That he's like, dude, I never saw you.
You can find a balance between friends and a relationship.
That's something that I need to work on for sure. But like, I just want to spend all my time with that person and devote
So you think
everything.
they'll know?
Oh, for sure. I'll make it so obvious. I'll be like... Yeah, like I want you, and I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll be super obvious with it.
I can tell because when you show me messages of girls that
like
you're
I'm
interested
so
in,
obvious, and it's like almost cringingly obvious. Yeah. But I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want it to be
like, hey boo.
I don't want it to be like a guessing thing. But then I've talked to Paris about this, and she's like, you want it to be a chase. You don't want, because Paris is literally like, I didn't know Isaiah liked me until the day he literally like kissed me.
I feel like, okay.
So I don't know.
Games are fun up to a certain point. Because then you just want it to be, you're like, I just want to know now. I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's more, because it gets more stressful than it does fun.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
It gets to a certain
point. And you're speaking from the heart right now. For real.
I also feel like there's a time period, right?
Yeah.
Like the first 2 weeks of you're interested in somebody, you know, you doing a little flirty.
I'm gonna wait a little bit,
texting back, thinking of you, how you doing, blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And then at a certain point, it's like, okay, are we gonna be something or not?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So there's also balance with that, like keeping the girl on her toes and not making it like right out the gate, like I want you, because that's too much, right? Or do you like a guy that just tells you straight off the bat, I like you, I'm trying to pursue something with you, let's do this?
It depends on the guy, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can say we like that, but then if it's like some scooty booty like person you don't even like, you're like, okay, either way you're gonna be like shoo, you know?
Yeah.
So it has to be, she has to have some interest in you, right? For you to then be forward and, you know, try to pursue something. But if she's giving you all the signals like, no, then you got to respect that and just back off, you know? Yeah.
And also, I feel like the best things start off slow. Kind of like a flower or a plant. You need to water it. You need for it to be grounded first.
Right.
And then it'll sprout into something beautiful, where if you go all out, like it can be like not the best. Like Isaiah and Paris. Isaiah started off as friends. He started off slow rather than going right in.
I feel like the best relationships start as friendships.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? But there's also, like, again, with the periods of time, there's a period of time in which you've been friends so long that then it becomes awkward to transition that into a relationship.
Oh, that's huge too.
Right?
You drag it out too much.
Yeah, because then you both are so used to the dynamic, even though if maybe both of y'all want something more, it's hard to sort of get out of that rhythm.
Because then you might jeopardize what was so good.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And even today, I was telling Cameron about this, like, I was closing my eyes at church, and I was just like, I feel so ready. Like, I go through these, like, points where I'm like, I'm ready and not ready. And you're always on, like, my back about, like, you're not ready. But I'm telling you, like, I feel ready.
What makes you think that you're ready?
Ooh, yeah. Like,
I'm ready to commit. I'm ready to commit and put both feet into building something with somebody, you know?
And you think you're in a good place, you're stable enough, you've worked on yourself enough.
Yeah, mentally and everything. Like I'm ready to fully commit myself to this person and compromise and work towards like a goal or a big picture together.
Okay.
Be on the same page. Okay. And that's something that I want so bad right now.
I see you.
Yeah, it's so motivating. Like
you want to be in a team with somebody.
Yeah, and I realized like a while back, everything that I do as a person, like whether it's like wanting to like dress well, smell good, be super clean, be super tidy, like everything that I've done and who I am, and it might be just like a biological thing, but like it's for the reason of attracting like
a mate,
a viable mate, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. And girls too, right? Like girls,
oh yeah,
like everything we do is for the purpose of impressing or trying to attract.
But you know what? For girls, we also care a lot about actually what other girls think of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially going into the ward, I feel like there were so many girls. I feel like there are more girls than there are guys in the ward, right? Or there are more guys?
I think there are more guys. I feel like there's more
right now. It's a weird, mix. Usually at most wards, I feel like there's more girls than guys.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
But like being around so many girls who are so spiritual, so nice, I feel like I need to like match that energy.
Oh,
And I feel like I have a problem with like wanting people to see me a certain way or like me, you know? So I agree. I feel like I do certain things not for guys, but like to be liked by the girls and to have a friendship with people.
I feel like girls notice more. Like if I got an outfit on and, you know, matching accessories.
Girls are always hyping each other up.
Yes. We'd be like, yes, queen, I see you with that. I see you, you know, whereas guys be like, oh, that's nice.
I didn't even notice, like girls would be like, you see like what I do with my hair? And it's like, no, I had no clue.
Or they'd be like, oh, are those shoes new? Like, wow. Yes. Where did you get those?
Yeah.
And when a guy notices it, it's even more special.
Actually, true.
You're like,
hidden
are those new
secret
shoes?
right
And
there.
you're like, you notice?
Yes. Yes, they are.
I don't want to expose my fellow guys out there, so I was about to say something about it.
But yeah, girls, I feel like girls, they lift each other up more often.
Okay, actually, I'll just say it because whatever.
What?
But guys will just like sometimes randomly just throw out compliments.
That's what Isaiah
just because.
said.
Dude, yeah, like we don't actually like care about certain things. Well, like we'll just literally just be like, okay, what's something unique that I can compliment that she probably hasn't heard? That will know though in their head they'll be like getting butterflies because I'm spitting so much truth in game right now. It's actually nuts.
Yeah. And when Isaiah said that, it made me think back. There was someone that liked me a while ago, and every time he would see me, he would compliment me. Every single time.
And it'd be something different, right? It wouldn't be like the same compliment.
It would just be about my outfits. Like your outfits are so fire. Like, come on, your outfits.
Yeah. Well,
or like
they are
nails.
Though. Your outfits are fire though.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not to take it away, but just they'll look for something. I don't know.
Yeah, to make them feel good.
I feel like I'm exposing myself.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like, you know, I went the other day to the car dealership, and you know, they teach you all these tricks, how to like haggle and what to say and things like that. But my car salesman was pretty chill, and he was like, it's all a game. Like, we know that you're going to say those things. You know what we're going to say. So let's just get to the point. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like that's the case with guys and girls too. It's like, we know that you don't really care.
Playing the game.
Yeah, it's all a game, right? And what really cuts through the mold and blossoms as something different is when you can connect on a deeper level.
That's all I want.
Right?
That's all everybody wants. At the end.
Where you can be seen and loved. Yeah. Right? Like fully seen, even for your imperfections, even for the things that you try to hide from other people, and to be known and then fully loved is it's something that is really hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's, if I could compare it to anything, and this is also how I compare the feelings of the spirit when I really feel like revelation is being received. Every day in my life almost feels like I'm holding my breath.
Jeez. Right?
You're like tipping around on your tippy toes around certain subjects and with certain people, and you're trying to put on a show, and it's just like, and then when I have spiritual experiences and I connect really with people, it's like that first breath of air when you come up out of the water, just
oh my gosh.
Right?
That's so poetic.
You just there, you're present, you're alive, you're feeling, there's an exchange, right? Instead of just, you feel the tension, right? But when you, it's really next level connections that fuel our meaning in life.
I like that you said.
And that's why I love like this church, and I feel so comfortable. Is like it's easier to get to that with people that have the same beliefs and have the same values. Like, you know what I mean? It's that much harder to break that barrier and get that breath of fresh air with somebody that doesn't even believe in God.
Yeah.
You know?
Or that just aren't in a vulnerable state, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
When you
about to
come
say.
to the church, a lot of people are in a very vulnerable state, meaning, you know, they're thinking about life. Maybe they lost a loved one. Maybe they're going through something hard. Or maybe they're just curious, right? Curiosity is a vulnerable state. I tell my students, I work at San Marcos High School, and I teach a lot of science, like physics and all kinds of stuff. And when we're doing an experiment, these kids, I tell you what, they try to be all cool. They be sitting back, you know, trying to pour stuff in vials and stuff. And I'm like, nah. You got to get right up in there and you got to observe and you got to see what's really happening. And they're like, nah, that's for nerds. You know what I mean? I was like, no. Curiosity in its vulnerable state can create miracles. You know, this is how literally vaccines have come about. You know, people are curious. They're in it. It's vulnerable. You make mistakes, but you keep trying, right? And I think that fuels a lot of people coming to the church is they're vulnerable. They're curious. What's these Mormons about? What's these people walking down, knocking on my door about? And then in that vulnerability, you start to notice trends and you start to see truth. And I think it's the truth in those connections that really bring people into the home.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Would you guys say that was true for y'all?
That was a good transition.
That was so good. You guys
I feel
were so
like,
good.
yeah, I agree with you that it is easier. I found people here that it's easier and quicker to make connections and to be vulnerable with one another because we have that common ground of spirituality, so we're able to connect that way.
And me and you got super close super fast. Like, we talk about this all the time because I was showing up to your lessons and I was like, dude, that's so cool that, like,
do they know that, like, the baptism and stuff?
We talked about it on our thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But yeah, finding that common ground is definitely important.
Yeah.
But when you were saying that there are some people that you have to hold your breath, that you have to tiptoe around, I feel that way with some people in the ward because I don't feel as close to them. So I have to put on a front and be like, hi, things are so well. Like, how are you? I'm doing so good. School,
even when you're not.
It's very surface level. And I have to watch some things that I know, I don't know. I have to watch just some things that I need to say, you know?
Yeah. And you're scared of getting judged by these people or being like,
I just don't want to look a certain way, I guess, in front of other people. And I
feel
like
there's a time and a place, I think, for everything, you know? You can't just they can't be like, hey, how are you? And you're like, I'm in a horrible,
you're breaking down in front of them. Yeah, like,
I don't want to get out
terrible.
of bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be like,
jumped out of a plane because of this.
You know what? I saw that.
Yeah.
This girl jumped out of a plane.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? I want to. That was crazy.
Lighter subject.
It was.
Talk about it.
You and your roommates went?
I went with Holly, Autumn, and Annika.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Y'all all, where did you even find a place to jump out of a plane right now?
Do you know Austin from the ward?
Yeah.
So he had gone before, and this was in Lompoc. And then he told Holly, and they were doing skydiving. They were still open. And so her birthday was Monday, so we went for her birthday.
And this is the first time you ever done anything like this?
So she told me a few weeks ago, she was like, we're going skydiving for my birthday if you want to come. And in my head, I was like, yeah, right, they're not going to go. I was like, okay, they're just saying it, but I don't know if they'll actually go. But then last week, she's like, yeah, we're going. I'm super excited. And I was just going to go to watch them jump off the plane. I was going to be the support group and just watch the little parachutes come down.
But the spirit came over you and you're like, I'm finna sign my life away right now.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if this is a good way to reckon or to deal with this, but I was feeling very down this past week. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to do something very freeing. I want to do something daring.
Geez.
Have you ever seen New Moon from Twilight? No. Oh, Bella goes through this breakup. She's so devastated.
She jumps off the cliff.
She jumps off the cliff. She goes on motorcycle rides. Like, yeah, she just does anything to feel something. And I feel like
that was
part of me was like, I just want to feel something. So I'm going to jump off of a plane. Yeah, literally. So then I was like, you know what? I think I want to jump. And then leading up to it, I had the idea of jumping, and then Charles and Isaiah were like, you know, like, if the parachute doesn't work out, you're gonna die instantly. And Charles was like, yeah, you would splatter everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And we were just talking Then I got kind of freaked out. Friday came around where we had to reserve the spots, and I didn't do it. And then the next day I went with them and they're like, yeah, we're jumping and she's going to watch. And then the lady there was like, we have an open spot. Do you want to jump? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Ooh.
And I got super scared when we had to watch a video, because we had to watch the first 10 minutes of the video where like, it was of this man and he was like, there's no perfect pilot. There's not a perfect plane. There's not a perfect instructor, not a perfect parachute, not even a perfect student. And there are risks that come with jumping out of a plane. He's like, there's injury, there's a risk of death. And we had to sign a waiver saying that we acknowledge that there's a high risk of death, that if we die, we can't sue. We had to list emergency contacts,
How you gonna
witnesses.
sue if you dead anyway?
I know, right?
No, your parents will come back. And funny, the whole like, can you imagine if my mom got a call like, hey, your daughter went skydiving and the parachute didn't work?
Yeah, I told Charles, I put my mom as the emergency contact, but I didn't tell my parents I was going. So if
Do
I
they
died,
still not know?
No, I told them.
Oh, wow.
If I died and they called my mom like, hey, is this Jackie? Yeah, your daughter Cameron, she went skydiving with us and she died. Like, can you imagine that? My mom would be like, what
Crushed.
the heck?
Destroyed, yeah.
But then we saw the parachutes coming down. And then I told Charles, I feel like God just took away all of my anxiousness and my nervousness. He took away my nerves. Because after I saw the parachutes, I felt so relieved and I was so excited. When we got on the plane, I heard that's the worst part. But we were going up and I was so excited and so ready.
Yeah, you were like smiling in every photo.
And
Every
jump
photo,
out
I was
of
like,
this plane.
yeah. Yeah. And then he scooted us out and he was like, he gave me the thumbs up. I was like, yeah. And then he just pushed us out. And I was free falling for 60 seconds, 180 miles an hour.
60 seconds? That's a long time.
Yeah, 60 seconds of free falling.
That's pretty dope.
Wow. How high did you go? Do you remember?
It was 13,000 feet. Wow. Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful metaphor for life as well, jumping
You know
out
what?
of an
Yeah.
airplane, because the scariest part is starting anything, starting life, starting this new journey, starting a new job, starting a new career path, whatever. Like, it's always scary to start. And that whole time, like, even people that start like YouTube, they're always like, I'm so scared of what other people will think. But once you get going, it's so freeing and so uplifting, and you find your stride and you find your passion, and you put that work. And like you said, you were smiling on the way up. So every time, we're chopping it up like this, and every time we're connecting and building, it's like we're just smiling on the way up.
Yeah. And also another metaphor is like you're on your way up, but you're falling. Like you have those moments of where you're falling, but then the parachute just lifts you back up.
Wow.
Yeah, and the falling part is like, life is never certain. You could die, right? You could die tomorrow.
The parachute might not be there.
And, but,
Yeah, it was awesome though.
Yeah.
I think it has to do a lot with trust also. Trusting someone.
Faith.
Yeah, and having that faith.
My favorite scripture is in Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. And it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And that has really been my mantra, since joining the church. Literally since the day I joined the church, it's been my favorite scripture. And there's been so many opportunities in my life that I've had to trust in myself, right? Trust in the knowledge that I have. And if I just rely on that limited amount of knowledge and understanding of the world, then I can only get so far. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is I can only progress spiritually so far. I can only progress in my personal life so far. I can only progress, at work so far. But when I add this element of leaning unto the Lord and relying on him and listening for the soft whispers of the Spirit, I feel like it's amplified. I really feel like I'm able to do things that I never even thought I was capable of. Like, you never thought probably that you was going to jump out of a plane, right? And yet Heavenly Father has these things in store for us that we don't even understand. We can't even comprehend our life a year from now, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and understanding that he can see us fully. Right? Like, we're good friends right here. And I feel like I can see you guys pretty well, but I don't know how, I don't know the inner workings of your soul like Heavenly Father does.
True.
Right? When we go to prayer and we spill our hearts out to him, it's a sacred time.
It is. Yeah. And it's when you can be your most vulnerable. And something that I really like that Bishop said today, during the Come Follow Me, he said, that Heavenly Father knows you by name. He knows you personally, and he knows, like you said, I feel like I know you guys, but there's still a layer or a veil that I can't see.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always going to be something there that we'll never know about each other. And he's been with us from the start. And he's just been waiting for us to come back to him.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really special too.
I was telling, I don't know if it was you, Charles, but I was telling somebody that, you know, how certain products like Mercedes and Max and stuff
Built
like
to
that,
break.
they're built to break, built to go bring them back and spend some more money, right? But I feel like sometimes we're like that too.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to go back to our creators, back to Heavenly Father, and sort of reset ourselves. And, you know, at first I used to think that was a weakness. You know, I used to think people that who went to church were weak. They couldn't just, you know, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, get through life, you know, and then life hit me.
Yeah.
And I realized that asking for help is not a weakness. In fact, it is a strength, you know, to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't understand what's going on. Like with my students, like there's certain students, they will sit there the whole period, stone face. And I'll come around and say, hey, you need help, honey? And they'll just be like, nah, I got it. I don't need no help. And I'll come back again, nothing on the paper. No experiment done, just sitting there. And then I'll come back at the end of the class and I'll say, well, how come there's nothing done there? He said, well, I didn't get it. And I said, but you could have asked me at any time. And I would have helped you. I would have sat here this whole class period to help you. And Heavenly Father's the same way, you know, but we don't want to ask. We just sitting there through life. I don't need your help. I don't need no help.
That's so true, because I feel the same way. I never asked for help in high school, and I feel like it just made me more confused, and it didn't get anything done. It actually made things worse.
Yeah.
And I got terrible grades, whereas if I'd asked for help, I could have been strengthened and grown and done better.
Yeah.
And that just proves that.
I'm an absolute baby. I'm always asking for help.
That's good.
I'm always, but I feel like the bad side of always asking for help is like you're slower to develop on your own and grow certain things because you're always relying.
But you will grow rather different from the people that never ask for help and don't grow.
For
They
sure.
just stay there.
Yeah.
They stay the same. They stay stagnant.
Yeah.
But-
I don't know. I just feel like it's good to, like, I like my baby-like qualities. Like, I recognize it, and I don't know.
Well, it says in the scriptures, you know, be like a child.
A child.
Yeah.
You know,
And
teachable.
I feel
Always
like
be
I've
curious.
always held on to that.
Yeah. But I think for me, it's scary because I like being vulnerable, but just experience from being vulnerable, I think sometimes I don't want to be because I feel like people use that against me.
Oh, you know,
Like
I've
knowing
learned
everything
that
about
recently. I've learned that. And you got to pick and choose. You have to listen to the spirit and be like, okay, this person is not going to treat something I hold sacred, right? You can't cast your pearls among swine, right? So it's important to be vulnerable when the occasion arises and when you really feel like a connection can be made. But, you know, not everyone is at that level. And not everyone understands that some things are meant to be kept sacred and treated tenderly, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we talked about today in church was like, love thyself and don't hate thy enemies. Like, love yourself, love your friends, but also love your enemies, right? And I just want to talk about that, like, fine line between getting stepped on by your enemies and being taken advantage of, but showing them love because you're like, even though you're hurt, like Paris always says, hurt people. Like, even though you're hurt and you look at me as an enemy and you hate me and this, that, and the other, but Christ was hated and crucified, but it didn't matter who hated or loved him. He treated everyone the same with respect and decency, and he was washing people's feet and just, so I don't know, it's tough to
Because that can be really hard with your enemies, people that have truly hurt you.
and try to continue to hurt you, and even if you're going out of your way, they can take advantage of that and find
and
your
it's-
weaknesses. And I
It's
don't know.
hard because I feel like if you treat them with kindness and they hurt you, they think that it's okay to do that again because you'll just always be kind.
And there's that
you know?
line, all of my kindness is taken for weakness.
All of my kindness.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, Uchtdorf gave a talk called Like a Broken Vessel, and he talks about things like mental illness and like difficulties in family relations. And there comes a certain point, even among family, where you have to be able to recognize that even though you've put in so much effort to be loving, to be kind, to be forgiving, to try to love them, right? Turn the other cheek. There comes a point when you have to identify a relationship is toxic. And once you realize that other person's not willing to budge, it's been years sometimes, you have to realize it's okay to step back for your mental health. It's okay to say, hey, I'm gonna love you from a distance, right? And I'm going to be over here. I wish the best for you. I'll pray for you. But being in close contact, always talking to you, is ruining my mental health. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I don't have a really strong family relationship, because I come from a very broken home in the hood. You know, people have done drugs and that's kind of wrecked their brains. And so they literally are incapable of having healthy relationships. And I knew that if I stayed in that environment with those individuals, that I would not be a healthy person, right? So I had to go to college, get my own apartment, and remove myself from that. And I realized that once I did that, I was free. I was free to be myself. I was free to blossom. And so sometimes, you know, with certain people, if you don't really need them in your life and you know that they're toxic, and that the relationship isn't going to work, it's okay to step away. You don't have to feel any guilt about it. You know, pray about it, make sure. But, you know, at a certain point, you don't always have to just be, you know, he says turn the other cheek, but he don't say stay there forever. Yeah. You don't let him slapping you every day, you know, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so interesting, too, that a consistent thing that I've seen among all my friends is like, we've all been through heartbreak. We've all been through like a toxic relationship. And at this point, I feel like it's necessary for growth. Like when you're in it, you like complain. You're like, why me? Like, why am I going through this? But it's just like, and it's hard to see that God is setting you up for something beautiful, for something even greater than the trial and the challenge that you're going through right now. And so, I don't know, just that, like, it's okay. Like we're all going through like we've all been through toxic stuff, but we can use that experience to move forward in faith and not repeat that.
Y'all know who Rascal Flatts is?
Yeah.
I love them. It's my secret country guilty pleasure. But they have a song, I think it's called Broken Road or something. And it's like, God bless the broken road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think they sung that they sung that in the Hannah Montana movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hannah Montana. Yeah. And so sometimes I feel like there's moments in our lives where we feel like everything's going wrong. But without those certain moments, we wouldn't get to a point where we're vulnerable enough to come to Christ, or where we're in the right spot to help somebody else, or where, you know, whatever the case may be. And I think those hard times help us appreciate the good times. Yeah. You know, you can't appreciate the sun with no rain.
True.
Do you feel like you have to hit absolute rock bottom to come to church? Like that contrite spirit, broken heart, contrite spirit, does that mean rock bottom? Or... Because for me, I was at rock bottom coming in, but I don't think you...
I wasn't at rock bottom. I was just in a vulnerable place. Because I just had moved out of my mom's house, and I was kind of toxic, and I was on my own for the first time, seeing if religion was even for me, you know. But I feel like in the subsequent years, because I've been a member 10, almost 11 years now, that when I felt closest, it has been sort of rock bottom moments, you know. And I'm trying to get to the point in my life where I don't need a rock bottom moment to be real close to Heavenly Father. I don't need to be struggling on a mission, getting rejected every day and crying in my bedroom to feel like He's close to me. Like it could be a normal Wednesday, you know, just going to work, you know, just being there, and then all of a sudden really feeling it. You know, I want to have my relationship with Heavenly Father be truly the greatest relationship that I ever have. You know, the one that I put the most work into. And because we already receive so much from Him, right? You know, we can never give it back, but we can put our effort in it, you know. And that's what relationships are about, talking about, you know, love and stuff like that. Love is really putting effort towards an entity that is no longer just you, but you and somebody else. Right?
Yeah.
What does love mean for you?
Ooh, what is love?
Yeah, I feel like you'd have
Baby,
a very
don't
good...
hurt me.
Yeah,
I used to think love was putting somebody before yourself. But then that if the other person is not doing that, it becomes toxic. And so what I think love is now is a mutual agreement in which it's almost like, instead of, they used to say, you bring your half, I'll bring my half. But then you only have 100. If the other person is whole and you are whole, and you bring 100%, right? Then it can really blossom, right? I've been in relationships where we were just half people ourselves, right? And wanting so much for another half to fulfill us. Right. And that's kind of what people say a lot. They're like, oh, that's my other half. Right. But then when you're not with that person or things aren't going perfect, you just walking around half a person.
Yeah. Like when they say they complete me.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But if you already are grounded and whole and you come into a relationship and you treat that relationship like its own entity, it has a life of its own, and you both pour into that. You pour, like parents, you pour that love into that being, right? You raise it up. I think when love is like that, it is deeper, right? It's more than just appearance. It's more than just sex. It's more than just intimacy. It's more than just fun date nights. It's something raw and beautiful, and there's creation in it. Love is creation.
Wow.
Right?
I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah. And that kind of goes with your teamwork thing, which makes me think maybe you are ready. Because when you really are a team with somebody, it's not about, okay, and this is how I used to do with one of my boyfriends. We used to eat a pizza, right? And we order a pizza, and I instantly cut it in half. This is your half, and this is my half, right? But that mentality actually extended throughout our relationship, and I always kept him at a distance. This is your half and this is my half, right? And whenever he would come, can I have, or when I would do, can I have a little, it was always like, wait, no, that's your half, and it was this I once was in a presentation about love and sexuality that was given to my high schoolers. And this dude just dropped some knowledge on us. And he was like, there's two kinds of love. There's consumer-based love, where it's like you go to the grocery store, you give something, you get something. And that's what most people know. It's like you give, you get, you give, you get, you give, you get. But then there's long-term love, committed love, where it doesn't matter if you don't receive necessarily. You're still going to give, right? You're still going to love. And when both people have that mentality, where it's not just give and get, where we're both coming in as whole people, giving, then the needs will be met. Everybody's needs will be met because you're both invested in the relationship itself, not just what's going to make you happy.
I remember somebody was saying, we are here, if you want a relationship to work, we are both in the service industry. We're both here. I think it was Chris Rock. Like, we are here to serve. If both people have the mentality that I'm here to serve you and get your needs and put your needs first. Yeah. And the other person is the same thing, then it works. It clicks. Yeah. Versus I need to do everything that I can to get my needs, and then you get yours, and then that's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. It could clash, so.
Yeah. What do you guys think what
I think it's compromise, tying back to the last answer, like the willingness to compromise, and sometimes that means 100% of your needs are not going to get met because there's differing ideals.
And then, honestly, 100% of one's needs cannot be ever fully met by another individual.
I think so. And I think that's the tough part to let go. That's so hard to let go.
There's some things that no person on earth can fulfill for you except you. Right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of those things are spiritual, honestly. A lot of those things, it's you by yourself praying. Maybe outside. The bishop was talking about that, how, the prophet of the church, President Nelson, was telling us that we really need to hear him. And to do so outside, I think is really powerful. Like in nature, just raw with ourselves and God. Yeah.
I didn't expect this to get this deep, but I'm like, I feel the spirit, and I don't know, there's a lot. I've learned a lot from everything that you've said, sitting here, soaking all that in, so it's been crazy. Yeah. Any last thoughts, Cam?
No, I just agree with you. I feel like it's really important for both people to be comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
And to have everything kind of together before going into a relationship. Because I remember there's always that quote, like, you need to love yourself before you love other people.
Yeah.
Because I think if you don't and you get into a relationship, then you're just going to be insecure the whole time.
Yeah. You can't put your validation in somebody else's hands.
Yeah. So I think that that's really important to have validation for yourself and your own self-worth and a good amount of self-esteem before you hop into a relationship. And I also think love is like trusting someone. That trust with one another, being able to be vulnerable in front of each other, being able to have each other's back, and just having that level of trust is really important too.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you guys think that you guys will gain self-worth or self-esteem, as you say? Like, how does one even do that? Because I feel like on social media, it's just about like posting good selfies in golden hour. But that's fleeting. So like, what do you do?
Nowadays, we're all searching for, I feel like, it's all about external validation. You know, how you look, your appearance. Like, every girl, pop in Instagram girl's feed is just her, like, flaunting how good she looks, you know? And people are never posting on Instagram, like, their vulnerable moments. Instagram's not a place to be vulnerable. It's all about, like, a highlight reel, you know? And so I don't know if Instagram will ever be that place where you share a traumatic thing in your life, or because nobody wants to see that. No one because the energy of that, looking at someone's at their worst, I don't know, it might be a weird thing to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see it sometimes. Some people will be vulnerable. Yeah,
because actually it'd be a good reminder too that like no one's life is perfect, because when you look at all these people's Instagrams, that's the struggle, is seeing everyone's life looks perfect on the outside.
Yeah, but you don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, it's always it's always something different, honestly.
Like all these girls on trips because their sugar daddy is, you know what I mean? They're sending feet pics and all that crazy stuff.
Because like when you talk to someone in person, you don't even know what's going on. Like they can put on a front. So going on Instagram and not even talking to them, but just seeing a picture, like, I don't know. I think it's, you just never know.
Yeah.
In my experience, I think the best way to gain self-esteem is actually spending time with yourself, unplugged from social media, from TVs, from video games, and actually just being with yourself. You know what I mean? Whether that's in nature, you know, whether you just go out and write in your journal somewhere. And I feel like when I'm doing that, I feel like I'm on top of the world. It don't matter, you know, if I'm breaking out, if I'm looking crazy, you know, just kind of just being cozy with yourself, I think helps you realize what a great person you actually are. Mm-hmm. Because most of us really are great people. We care about other people. We have our interests. We, you know, have our morals, our values. And when we're left to really think about those things, unplugged from the fake world, I think that helps us understand really our true divinity as daughters and sons of God.
Yeah, I agree. I like the unplugged part. I think doing things that you really like hobbies, I think that's important too, the unplugged part. And also for me, something that I'm trying to work on to get to having a higher self-esteem is therapy, like I mentioned.
Ooh, therapy. Yes.
How's that been going? How many times have you gone to therapy?
Just once, but I have my next meeting or session tomorrow.
How was your first time? And there was a question that on our podcast where I was like, what's the difference between you and your therapist on the first session versus you opening up to your friends? And I was just really curious about.
So there are things with my friends that I haven't mentioned to anyone. And I was able to be so vulnerable and open up to him because he is a professional and he has different mechanisms and he's trained to like say certain things, and he's gone through schooling where he knows how to handle certain situations. And so I feel like they know how to help you grow, where other people, they may give advice, but you don't know if that's going to be the best advice for that person.
And I feel like when you're just chopping it up with your friends or like really telling them, like they always are going to have in mind your friendship with them, right? And they're not going to try to ruin that. So maybe you need to hear something, but they don't really want to say it because they're like, oh, this is going to ruin our friendship. Whereas therapists, they keep you at a distance so that you can do that, so that they can say like, no, you know, and you're not going to be like, all right, you know, we're not friends anymore. It's like, oh, actually, I'm paying you for this advice. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a good place where I don't need therapy, but I don't know.
Yeah. And therapy, I want to take an opportunity to sort of dispel some myths, because this year is the first time that I've gone to therapy, and I've been through some really traumatic things in my life, but I always thought, therapies were like wusses, you know? But this year I went through some really, really traumatic, extremely traumatic things. And I literally was having these panic attacks. I didn't even know what they were until my friend told me. I was like, yeah, like the other day I was sitting on my couch, I couldn't breathe, and I started shaking.
You get numb.
Yeah, you just feel like the world is you feel like you're in a can and somebody's crushing it. And she was like, oh, you having a panic attack? And I was like, what's that? And I looked it up and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm having a panic attack. I probably should get some help. And so I got a therapist and I started working with her. And one of the things that I learned is that mental health can be preventative. It doesn't have to be always after something horrible, right? You can do it like you brushing your teeth, right? You don't just brush your teeth when you got a cavity. It's too late then. Like, I mean, it's not too late, but like in order to truly have it be preventative health, it needs to be regularly.
It's like going to the doctors for checkups.
Yeah. Do you think everyone should then try out therapy?
Oh,
should it be?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, because now after you just saying that preventative, I'm just like, oh, if I'm well prepared going into like potential trauma and I'm equipped to handle it, versus like I go into a downward spiral and I don't know how to handle it and I just make it worse because I'm just not.
And there's always something to work on. You can always improve.
And I think if not therapy...
Now I'm just curious about it. That's crazy.
If not therapy, I would do... The church has a self-reliance class called Emotional Self-Reliance, I think. And I took it this summer, and that's really helpful. So even if you don't, want to do the whole therapy, which can be very expensive, by the way, that's one of his biggest drawbacks. You can do other programs where you can still get those skills, whether that's mindfulness, grounding yourself, whether it's, positive self-talk, whether it's analyzing situations logically instead of with your emotions. Okay, I know y'all out there doing that. Talking about, he don't like me, he don't love me, he don't want to see me ever again. And my therapist was like, honey, he was just grocery shopping. You know what I mean? Like, chill. And so if you can still get those skills so that when something bad does happen, you like you said, you can cope. You got your armor on, you can fight through the battle. Yeah, you gotta get that.
You gotta get the garments.
Yeah.
I might have to get some garments.
You might have to go on a mission.
Maybe. Potentially, I'm thinking about it. Cam, would you want to start a mission?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Cameron.
What?
Cameron. What's your last name?
Tong.
Sister Tong.
Sister Tapo and Sister Tong.
Yeah, maybe.
Where are you at? Out of 100, like where are you at right now? On serving, like what if you graduated?
Maybe like 20.
Okay.
Do you think it would go up once you graduated and you'd be like, I don't know.
Possibly if I'm like, yeah.
I feel like you would be really good missionary.
No one's ever been like, I don't think you'd make a great missionary. It's always, you'd be an amazing missionary.
I think you would. I think converts, I feel like, really have a leg up in the missionary field, because like a lot of people think, oh, you just grew up with this church, and we're all converts to the church, as I think, as you said earlier. It gave me an opportunity to be like, no, I didn't. I chose this, and this is why I chose it. Life. Yeah. It sort of, I think, solidifies your decisions and that it's real and not just something that parents force-fed their kids.
It's a stronger testimony versus someone that grew up in it and never has been tested, never has known anything else and wants to,
Yeah.
So we've been tested. We've gone through it. We've, like you were always talking about, floating through life.
Yeah.
And then finding something that we can hold, that iron rod that we need to do everything we can to hold on to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think that's a good wrap up to this episode. I didn't expect it to get this deep, but Once again, appreciate you guys for sticking with us on that crazy ride. Thank you so much to Belinda and Cameron for coming on and sharing their thoughts.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot more episodes on the way, and hopefully we can have this dynamic again if you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Woot woot.
Swagger days. Instead of when we were younger, we were younger.